There's been a lot of speculation and a lot of rumblings that Titanfall 3 is currently in development, guys. But it's been confirmed as of right now that Respawn is not working on Titanfall 3. However, there's a lot that we can speculate about. There's a lot that we can talk about. And it sounds like Respawn, even though they may very well not be working on the game at this very point in time, there are things that they are kind of giving us, little hints and snippets of information about Titanfall 3, and essentially stating that they haven't forgotten about this franchise, even though Apex Legends, of course, is their biggest game at this point, and that's within the Titanfall universe. So in this segment of the show, I wanted to talk about Titanfall 3 and everything that we know so far. So let's get into it. So guys, Titanfall 3, at least from my perspective, is a game that I'm really excited for and I'm hoping for at this point in time, even though it hasn't been 100% confirmed as of yet. In an article that was written by Connor Trinsky of Screen Rant, Respawn Entertainment confirms that there are no Titanfall games in development, despite the studio strongly hinting at a new entry for a while. Respawn Entertainment has confirmed that it has no new Titanfall 3 game in development, but still wants to make a sequel eventually. The venerated Titanfall 2 will be turning 4 years old this year, and fans have been increasingly clamoring for a rumored Titanfall 3 ever since the game's release. Now, obviously, guys, one thing that we can probably state about Titanfall 3, probably, if it's not secretly in development or in the very early stages, if it's not, the reason would be because of Apex Legends and the success of Apex Legends, which I actually think is a really good thing for the Titanfall universe as a whole, because of the success of Apex Legends, it very well could greenlight Titanfall 3, and then they can promote it with like Apex Legends and things of that nature. So I do think overall a Titanfall 3 has a very good chance of coming out at some point, but it hasn't probably been announced or been talked about a whole lot yet because of Apex Legends. Whether intentionally or not, Respawn has been fueling speculation on a potential Titanfall 3 with various teases and references in Apex Legends. In a tweet last year, Respawn co-founder Vince Zampella also stated that the team was working on more Titanfall, saying that they love being able to experiment with this crazy universe. EA followed that up by claiming that a premium Titanfall game would be coming in the near future. All signs seemed to be pointing to Titanfall 3 or something very much like it. Now, there were a number of Titanfall, things that were teased, guys. Content that was teased, of course, in Apex Legends. An IGN interview with Vince Zampella has now confirmed that this is no longer the case. When asked if the Titanfall series was finished at this point, Zampella responded by saying there's nothing currently in development, but it's always there. He also added that he has a definite desire to return to the series. Referring to the many Titanfall teases in Apex Legends, Zampella said, "You see the little bits of stuff coming back. At some point, I would personally like to see some kind of resurrection there. We'll see if I can make that happen." Considering that both EA and Respawn were hinting so strongly at a new Titanfall game this year, it's probably that the new premium title was canceled in favor of other projects. So, look, from an outsider's perspective, what do we see here? Well, EA, from a business perspective, may say, look, we don't need to make a Titanfall 3 because Apex Legends is doing so well. Let's just keep on, adding things to Apex Legends. We don't need to make another Titanfall game, at least right now. And so they may have had a Titanfall 3 kind of in the early stages, but then all of a sudden it was yanked from Respawn because of the success of Apex Legends, once again, like what I was kind of alluding to earlier. So from a business perspective, it makes more sense to have Apex Legends and kind of see how long those legs are. But at the same time, doing a Titanfall 3 would be really smart, because then you can cross-promote. You can promote Apex Legends through Titanfall 3 and vice versa. You can promote Titanfall 3 through Apex Legends. And so that's what I think would be really important, and I think what would be a good idea in my opinion. But once again, guys, there's an obvious want, like it seems around Respawn, from Vince Zampella, guys, obviously stating that, he wants to make another Titanfall game. He doesn't know when, and he's going to see if he can make it happen at some point, which is interesting because it's almost like he has to be the one saying, giving his stamp of approval on it. I don't know. It's very interesting to say the least. But those other projects were discussed in the interview, further emphasizing Respawn's success with Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Zampella corroborated reports that Fallen Order is just the first in a new Star Wars franchise. He went on to mention Respawn's mysterious Medal of Honor game as well, saying it will be coming out sometime in 2020 and that fans can probably look forward to more info at the upcoming EA Play event. At the end of the interview, Zampella also teased other things that he didn't want to talk about now in the interest of surprising fans at some point down the line. So here's what I'll say is, most likely, they are also going to be working on another Star Wars game, like a Jedi Fallen Order 2, just because of the success of that game as well. So when you think about it, guys, Titanfall, the mistake that was with Titanfall 2 in particular, was number one, each game kind of had its own issues. One was just a multiplayer experience, and then the other one, of course, gets released right between Call of Duty as well as Battlefield. And when you do that and you're trying to go up against those other juggernauts in the shooter genre, it got completely eaten alive at the end of the day, which I think was such a unfortunate thing for Titanfall, because it is a really special game and franchise, but it's not Call of Duty yet. It's not Battlefield yet. Don't do that. It didn't really even make sense because EA owns both Battlefield as well as Apex. So to me, it just didn't make sense at all for them to do that. So I think that it actually was self-inflicted, some of the wounds that happened from Titanfall and this universe so far. But this revelation is a serious letdown for any Titanfall fan. Although Respawn could certainly have some exciting new games in development, the fact that none of them are a Titanfall sequel is a strange decision on their part. And look, I don't actually think it's really a strange decision. I just think that it's a decision that they decided to do because there's other games they're working on. Medal of Honor, guys. You've got, of course, Apex Legends, which is already in the Titanfall universe. You probably are going to have another Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game. Things of that nature, guys. And so when I look at the grand landscape of what Respawn is working on, which I think it's awesome that they're working on all these different titles and such, I do believe that Titanfall 3 is going to come out at some point or another. I think at this point in time, it's on an indefinite hiatus. Maybe it's even in a limbo state. But I think, guys, that it will get brought back at some point or another. At least round out the trilogy. If you're only going to do, one more Titanfall game, just do that so we at least have a trilogy of games to kind of, have. And especially with the next-gen consoles, I think it could be something really special. But with that, guys, these are the things, even though we don't know a lot about, what's going on as far as the rumblings and things of that nature of Titanfall 3, what's happening behind the scenes, we can only hope that this game will come out at some point or another, and I believe that it absolutely will. Let me know, though, in the comment section down below, what do you guys want to see in Titanfall 3? Where do you guys think it is at this point? Do you think it's going to come out at some point or another in the foreseeable future? Let me know, guys, and for more Titanfall 3 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.